spoke to somebody on there about the issue. It's like, well, how come when I wrote one check one date, it went through fine, but then at when I tried it again at the same location, it wouldn't go through. They didn't have an answer. I asked them, well, what is the company that deals with the process of checks? And they gave me the first person I spoke to. She didn't even know. She had to put me on hold so she could go find out who it was. Gave me the name of the company, which is called Certitude. Gave me some number. It was a bullshit number because when I dialed up the number, and I repeated the number to her to make sure I got it correct before dialing it, there was some voice on the other line, spoke for a couple of seconds, and then hung up. It was an automated machine. I called up the number again, spoke to somebody else. They gave me a different number. I called that number. This one was different. It was a robotic voice that said, did you write out a check on this date? Say yes or no. If no, then say the date. Say the last four digits of the check number, your routing number, all that stuff. And I figured, okay, waste of time. Looked up the company on the internet and got a different number and spoke to them the next day because I got tired of waiting online for over an hour. And when I spoke to someone on the phone there, and he checked my account and said, there's no problems. You never had any checks that declined at all. Nothing that bounced. Perfectly good account. So, they said their excuse was sometimes we decline checks to protect people from identity theft.
Bullshit.
That makes no sense at all. That's crazy. That doesn't have any logic. And he's all apologetic. It's like, we can sign you up for some program free of charge that will lower your chances of being declined, at another location. And he said, you want to do that? I said, okay. Hey, as long as it's free of charge, I'll do it. And I gave him my address, and it's going to be sent in the mail. I mean, that doesn't make. I mean, I still can't make heads or tails of why exactly would a company decline a check for no apparent reason. I mean, it's got to be a fail, on their part because, like you said, he looked up my account. There's been no faulty, and if that company did in fact was some kind of front for identity theft, it is, I will sue the hell out of them because I'll be pissed. And so basically, what I'm going to do is, if I want to pay off my Resident Evil pre-order, then I'm basically just going to drive down to the bank for like maybe 10 minutes tops, withdraw money, drive over to the GameStop that is literally 5 minutes away from where I live in driving time, and go in there, give them cash to pay it off, because I will be beyond pissed if I try to write out a check to them and it gets declined, because I've never had a check bounce at all or be declined because of insufficient funds. Because believe me, like any responsible person, I keep track of my checking account. Whenever a check is written, I write it down. Yeah. So, I mean, that's completely retarded that they'll say, oh, we decline checks for your protection.
Anyways, I don't know. I think it's just it's a lot of stuff. But anyways,
I have something to say real quick. One thing I like about GameStop. When you buy a game that's either new or used, and you buy it and play it within the first day, and you don't like it, you can return it no problems at all.
Are you talking about used or new?
Both.
Wait, bullshit. I mean,
they have a policy saying you can return it within the first few days if you buy it brand new.
That's not what I read on my receipt. Because on the receipt, when I said this specifically in my Street Fighter Cross Tekken, that the back of I looked at my receipt after having the game for only a few days and was disappointed with the game, didn't like it, hated it. I thought to myself I could return it and get my money back. No, the back of the receipt says, on refund policies, even with the receipt, if the game is brand new you cannot get your refund back. You cannot. You can only do like I guess store credit or something like that. If it's
Well, at least
used,
you get your money back
but I mean,
in store
uh,
credit.
well, why can't they give you your if you paid it back in cash or did it via credit
I don't
card? You
know.
could do it like
I guess they're trying to get back at you. Instead of making an exchange, they just want to get. They don't trust you with giving your money back.
but there's no logic to that to say that if it's brand new and you don't like it and you have your receipt and it's still it's not damaged. I mean you just put it back in the case, go back up there with your receipt and say, hey, I want my
Let me tell you. Let
money
me
back.
tell
You
you
didn't like
something.
it.
Let me tell you something funny.
Hmm.
Remember that TMNT game that came out in 2007, TMNT Smash Up,
Yeah.
that
The
Brawl
what?
fake? I bought it right when it came out. First few hours I played it, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. It was nothing like the other TMNT games. In fact, it was nothing even like Brawl, except it was a straight ripoff. No good storyline whatsoever. Just a, a bad taste of game, of a gaming.
Hmm.
And when I returned, the guy's like, "Oh God, the box is all smashed up." Well, dude, that was the way the box was when I bought it. Cause like one of those brand new games because some of the games you buy, they're not in the case. They're like they're out of the case. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy a brand new game that hasn't been played before, but they're not in the case. And they
Hmm.
put the case in it. And the case was damaged when I bought it.
Well, I don't know.
And the guy was trying to get me on the case, and I said, "Dude, that's the way it was." And the other employee's like, "He's right. I was there when they paid for it." And the guy just gave me and my dad a look. He's like, and he just instead of like getting our money back, we just exchanged it for a couple of old games for the Wii system.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I
And
don't.
really, that's one reason why I like GameStop more than Game Dude. Because number one, Game Dude will only return your games if there is a faulty problem with your games.
When it comes to Game Dude, though, it's just a lot of shit with them. But
So you're saying that you need over at Game Dude, if you didn't, if even if you had your receipt and it's within the time frame, of a certain amount of days to have it returned, and it's okay, they still won't take it back and
They
give you
only give you
your
like a 30-day return or something, and that's if you have a faulty with your game.
they,
well,
they need to adopt my store's policy, which is basically,
Which is why I prefer GameStop better, because even if you buy a new game that's used, you can still return it with no questions asked.
well,
I mean, with my store, when it comes to returns, basically, it's 45 days with the receipt. During the holiday season, it's extended to, I believe 2-3 months beyond the 45 days. And even then, there have been times when, um, even if someone does not like the item, I mean, it could be anything. It could be a rug, clothing, anything. And whatever we sell, if they don't like it, they ask us if I did buy this and I don't like it, can I return it? And I say, yeah, you can. No questions asked. You don't like it, bring it back. We'll give you a refund.
You talking about Walmart? Walmart?
No. That's not Walmart. This is
Tuesday morning.
a Tuesday morning. A great company and good people to work with. Good customers. Hardly ever come across. I haven't even come across a bad customer there, and they're always reasonable. I mean, they tell me up front, like that they're cautious. They say, if I buy this,
Oh,
and
you're
I don't
talking about
like
like
it.
your Big Lots, like store you work at,
No,
right?
no, 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 it's not big. It's not. It's a retail. Think of it like, oh yeah, like Big Lots, but not quite. But it's a independent company, and um, basically, I mean, it's a reasonable store when it comes to store policy, but it's old school. But in regards to return, that they're a hell of a lot more reasonable than some other stores I've
Hmm.
gone to.
But well, anyways, I think we'll wrap it up here if you guys want.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you've been listening to the Ash Manoftomorrow and Saveanime podcast. So long and good night.
The people live in Maine, of course, there's nowhere else to live. With the writer, the alcoholic too, the adulterer and his whore. Some dumb rednecks, a disappointing resolution here in Stephen King's Nine.
What I do like about Walmart is that even if you open the box
There,
of
guys.
what product you bought, you can still return